You're dedicating an excessive amount of thought and energy to individuals who genuinely don't reciprocate that consideration. Allow me to reiterate this, as it's a truth you profoundly need to internalize. You are squandering your vitality, your inner calm, and your prospective future by clinging to those who have already released their grasp on you. The undeniable reality is that the instant you redirect your attention inward, toward yourself, every facet of your existence begins a profound transformation. And I mean everything: your self-assurance, your mental clarity, your inherent drive. Yet here lies the persistent hurdle: you constantly gaze backward. You persistently pursue closure, validation, and approval from individuals who demonstrably don't warrant even a front row seat in the theater of your life. You aspire to grow, to cultivate inner peace. If that's your desire, then heed my words with absolute conviction. Focus on yourself and release them. This is the permission slip you've been anticipating, the affirmation you've sought. The time has arrived. Let's delve into this. A vast majority of people navigate their lives with their energy fragmented into countless directions, relentlessly pursuing individuals who show no inclination to change, striving to mend relationships that are fundamentally irreparable, or seeking affirmation from sources that have consistently diminished their sense of worth. Do you comprehend the inevitable outcome of such persistent behavior? You remain stucks. You perpetuate a cyclical pattern of continuous giving without ever experiencing true personal growth. You relentlessly invest in others, yet you neglect to invest in the single individual who possesses the power to genuinely alter your life. This is the unvarnished truth. We've been indoctrinated into the belief that it's a noble act to prioritize others, to make sacrifices for relationships, to consistently be a steadfast presence for people. However, allow me to articulate a crucial distinction. It ceases to be noble when it exacts the costly toll of your peace of mind, your unwavering focus, and your personal advancement. There's a tangible difference between genuinely supporting someone and utterly losing yourself in the arduous process of attempting to salvage them. You are under no obligation to deplete your own reserves to keep someone else metaphorically warm. The very moment you decisively shift your energy from endeavoring to fix others to diligently constructing your own self, every element of your life begins to align seamlessly. Why does this occur? Because you cease to outsource your inherent worth. You stop metaphorically handing people the pen and soliciting their authorship of your personal narrative. You seize unequivocal author's control. You stop chasing after individuals who perpetually treat you as a mere option. You cease feeling compelled to explain yourself to those who are resolutely committed to misunderstanding you. You stop entering spaces where you feel compelled to diminish your own essence to fit in, and instead, you begin to stride confidently in your own inherent power. You commence making choices that are in harmonious alignment with your aspirations for the future, rather than being tethered to your past. You start diligently constructing routines, establishing firm boundaries, and cultivating habits that authentically reflect your personal goals. That, unequivocally, is when everything transforms, not when they choose to return, not when they finally utter an apology, not when some external entity grants you permission. No, it changes definitively when you initiate that change. And allow me to articulate a point that might sting slightly. The individuals whose approval you are desperately seeking right now, they are not consumed by thoughts of you. They are not lying awake in the dead of night, replaying past arguments or the moments they caused you disappointment. You are stubbornly clinging to something they have already unburdened themselves of. And that gnawing pain you experience, that's your very soul attempting to communicate with you. It's time to redirect your unwavering focus back onto Beffer, yourself. It's time to cease your relentless search for love, validation, or closure in places that have unequivocally demonstrated their inability to provide it. When you finally embrace this truth, not merely intellectually, but profoundly within your spirit, you reclaim your inherent power. Because now, all that immense energy you expended obsessing over them, over what precisely went awry, over their perceived emotions, you can harness that very same energy and deploy it to transform your own life. You don't require their apology. You don't need them to finally perceive your intrinsic worth. You don't need them to comprehend your perspective. What you unequivocally need is to awaken each day and pour that potent energy into your own profound healing, your continuous personal growth, and your unique vision for the future. Contemplate the sheer volume of mental space they currently occupy within your mind. Now, envision if you were to utilize that identical mental capacity to build a thriving business, to finally write that book you've dreamed of, to achieve optimal physical fitness, to heal your deeply rooted trauma, or to discover your profound life's purpose. The shift is nothing short of radical. It's intensely emotional. It's undeniably painful. Yet it is also profoundly liberating. Because when you cease your attempts to fix others and commence the vital work of building yourself, you become unshakable. You cease reacting impulsively to every fleeting comment, every painful rejection, every subtly passive, aggressive maneuver. You cease striving to exert control over outcomes and other individuals. You unequivocally rise above. The fundamental reason most individuals fail to grow isn't due to a lack of inherent potential. It's because they are utterly exhausted. They are emotionally depleted from clinging to things that are no longer aligned with their path. They are utterly drained because they've been relentlessly fighting battles that fundamentally do not belong to them. If this deeply resonates with your current experience, then the moment has arrived. It's time to definitively reclaim your energy and strategically reinvest it within yourself. This necessitates establishing clear, firm boundaries. It means courageously uttering the word no. It means safeguarding your invaluable peace at all costs. You simply cannot flourish amidst chaos. You cannot evolve into the most exceptional version of yourself while perpetually existing in survival mode, gingerly tiptoeing around the volatile moods of other people, and consistently sacrificing your own profound well-being. Each and every instance, you consciously shift your energy toward the deliberate act of building yourself, you are unequivocally signaling to the universe, I am ready. Ready to wholeheartedly receive what is genuinely meant for me. Ready to gracefully step into true alignment. Ready to cease waiting for someone else to grant me permission. Do you comprehend what transpires when you begin to show up for yourself in such a profound and consistent manner? Life itself responds in kind. Opportunities spontaneously manifest. Individuals who are intrinsically aligned with your authentic truth begin to appear in your life. You begin to feel deeply grounded, remarkably clear, and powerfully intentional. And this isn't some mystical enchantment. It's pure, unadulterated momentums. Momentum meticulously created by choosing yourself unequivocally again and again and again. Do you genuinely desire to transform your life? Then, stop pouring your energy into individuals who metaphorically leak it away. Stop perpetually deferring your most cherished dreams for someone who won't even offer you a solitary clap. Stop deliberately breaking your own heart in a futile attempt to keep a faltering connection alive. Because here's the undeniable truth. The right people will not require convincing. The right people will never demand that you betray your authentic self. When you diligently build yourself, you naturally attract individuals who are also engaged in their own process of building. When you profoundly heal yourself, you naturally attract individuals who have also undertaken their own healing journeys. When you unequivocally value yourself, you naturally attract individuals who genuinely value you. But none of these transformative occurrences can take root while you remain inextricably obsessed with attempting to rectify someone else's disarray. And here's a critical insight most people fail to grasp. That energy is currency. As every single minute you dedicate to obsessing over someone else's behavior, their fluctuating opinions, or whether they will respond to your text message, you are expending valuable energy that could be actively fueling your own profound growth. That is a burdensome debt you absolutely do not need to accrue. You need to evolve into the kind of individual who protects their energy as if it were pure gold, because it unequivocally is. Your energy fundamentally dictates your focus, and your focus, in turn, meticulously sculpts your future. So, if your focus is perpetually being hijacked by individuals who demonstrate no genuine concern for your future, you are making no significant progress. You are perpetually ensnared in the same repetitive loop, the same circular arguments, the same emotionally exhausting roller coaster. And allow me to emphatically state this: peace is the most profoundly underrated flex there is. When you finally acquire the wisdom to protect your inner peace, you begin to radiate a distinct and compelling glow. You begin to create, to articulate your thoughts, to take decisive action. When you invest in yourself across every dimension, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you are meticulously constructing a foundation that cannot be swayed by external noise. You are consciously crafting a life that is not contingent upon someone else's love, their loyalty, or their transient attention. That, unequivocally, is authentic power. And it is not selfish, it is profound self-preservation. It is the sole viable path forward. You must cease concocting excuses for individuals who consistently demonstrate their unwillingness to grow. You must cease betraying your own immense potential merely to sustain relationships that are firmly rooted in the past. If they are not evolving alongside you, then they are unequivocally part of an old chapter in your life, and you are under no moral obligation to remain stagnant simply because they choose to be. Growth necessitates separation. It requires a degree of discomfort. It unequivocally demands that you courageously walk away from anything that no longer genuinely nourishes your spirit. Reflect on how immeasurably lighter you will feel when you finally cease shouldering everyone else's metaphorical baggage. Contemplate the profound clarity that will emerge when your mind is no longer cluttered with anxieties about what they might think. Envision the groundbreaking breakthroughs that are patiently awaiting you on the other side of the act of letting go. And it all commences with one singular, resolute decision to redirect the unwavering focus back to you. To cease pursuing people and instead begin vigorously pursuing your own boundless potential. To cease waiting for external validation and instead begin showing up as your own most fervent cheerleader. That is the fundamental shift. That is the ultimate power. You are not inherently responsible for everyone else's happiness. You are not present in this life to fix individuals who steadfastly refuse to fix themselves. You are not obligated to continually sacrifice your own well-being merely to maintain a superficial sense of peace. True peace originates from within, Gex, and it commences when you unequivocally reclaim your focus. When you take back your precious mornings. When you stop aimlessly scrolling and comparing yourself to others, and instead you begin meditating, consciously moving your body, journaling your thoughts, and diligently building. These actions may appear small and insignificant individually, but they inexorably accumulate. They meticulously create it as momentum, and that momentum, in turn, precipitates profound transformation. However, none of this can genuinely transpire while you remain emotionally tethered to individuals who relentlessly drain your energy. Your focus is undeniably your future, and your future unequivocally deserves your complete and undivided attention. There is absolutely no shame in deliberately choosing yourself. There is no lingering guilt in outgrowing people. There is no apology necessary for leveling up your life. Anyone who attempts to make you feel inferior for your personal growth is merely revealing their own inherent stagnation. Let them go. Wish them well. Move forward with unwavering resolve. You are not cold, you are lurid, clear. You are not heartless, you are healing. And authentic healing necessitates space. It requires a deliberate distance from the people and patterns that consistently kept you small and confined. You can genuinely love someone and still, with compassion, let them go. You can truly forgive someone and still, with resolute conviction, choose not to re-engage with them. This isn't fueled by bitterness. It's a clear manifestation of F's maturity. This is the unequivocal embodiment of taking profound, assertive responsibility for your own energy. And the undeniable truth is, you simply cannot cling to certain individuals and simultaneously achieve personal growth. You cannot diligently construct a vibrant new life while perpetually residing within antiquated, draining cycles. You cannot realistically anticipate novel outcomes while persistently entertaining the same tired thoughts, engaging in the exact same unproductive behaviors, and participating in the very same emotionally depleting dynamics. If nothing fundamentally shifts, then nothing indeed will change. Therefore, today, you are presented with a crucial choice to definitively show up for yourself, to purposefully redirect your unwavering focus, to thoughtfully reinvest your invaluable energy, to unequivocally declare, I am done waiting. I am done trying to fix things. I am done begging for what should be freely given. And instead, you consciously articulate, I am building. I am healing. I am growing. That profound internal shift, that deeply personal decision, is precisely where your authentic transformation genuinely begins. Not with them, it begins profoundly with Ephra's you. Every single ounce of energy you consciously pour into yourself doesn't merely get consumed, it remarkably multiplies. It compounds exponentially. It effectively becomes your inexhaustible power source. And that inherent power, once tapped into, is absolutely unstoppable. Because when you meticulously build yourself up, you become an utterly whole individual. And whole people, by their very nature, do not chase. Whole people do not resort to begging. Whole people do not diminish their own stature to make others feel more comfortable. Whole people inherently create. They lead with conviction. They love expansively without ever losing their own authentic selves in the process. And this entire magnificent process commences the very instant you declare, enough is enough. It's time to unequivocally focus on me. This isn't an act of selfishness. It is in fact utterly necessary. Because the life you deeply desire, the future you envision, is meticulously built by the version of you who is unafraid to grow independently, to courageously walk away from what no longer serves, to bravely embark on a fresh start. It is built by the version of you who isn't intimidated by being misunderstood. It is shaped by the version of you who consistently chooses peace over drama, growth over stagnation, and a purpose over people pleasing. That is the magnificent version of you that patiently awaits your arrival. And you reach them by decisively shifting your energy from futilely fixing others to diligently building yourself. That is the only viable path forward. That is precisely where your true power resides. That is precisely where every aspect of your life begins to irrevocably change. The art of God's letting go isn't something we are typically taught. We are frequently advised to move on, to get over it, to simply not let it bother us. Yet, paradoxically, no one ever genuinely elucidates what that intricate process truly entails. And deep within, most individuals mistakenly equate the act of letting go with a profound sense of loss, the loss of a significant relationship, the severance of a cherished connection, or even the perceived loss of a part of their own identity. However, that deeply ingrained perception profoundly misrepresents what letting go actually signifies. Letting go is not, in its truest essence, a loss. It is unequivocally a heiress return, a glorious return to your inherent power, a serene return to your inner peace, a reclaiming of who you authentically were before you became weighed down by the pervasive chaos, the stifling expectations, the relentless drama, and the insidious emotional manipulation. Letting go doesn't imply that you never truly cared. It doesn't suggest that the experience held no significance for you. Rather, it signifies that you care about yourself profoundly more now. It means you are finally awakening to the profound realization that your peace is immeasurably more valuable than someone else's fleeting comfort. And that, my friend, is an exceptionally powerful realization, because it marks the very genesis of a transformative journey that alters everything. When you stubbornly cling to individuals who have caused you pain, or to relationships that clearly no longer serve your highest good, you are not, in fact, keeping something vital alive. Instead, you are deliberately keeping yourself stuck. You are perpetually replaying old, painful memories, futilely attempting to rewrite a narrative that has already reached its definitive conclusion. You are dangerously attaching your inherent self-worth to something external, desperately hoping that if they were to miraculously return, if they were to finally offer an apology, if they were to, at long last, truly comprehend your intrinsic value, then you would miraculously feel whole again. But here is the stark reality. You do not need closure from them. You do not require validation from them. You do not need anyone's permission to courageously move forward with your life. What you unequivocally need is to reclaim your own power. Because every single time you persist in holding on to something that has already definitively released its hold on you, you are actively relinquishing your power, your joy, and your fundamental capacity to progress. You are internalizing and perpetuating a false narrative that dictates you can only be okay if they remain an active presence in your life. And that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is a profound lie. Letting go is not about attempting to erase or deny your past experiences. It is profoundly about accepting them for what they were. It is about respectfully honoring the invaluable lessons they imparted without ever allowing them to define your present or your future. The relationship, the job, the friendship, the particular chapter in your life, it served its distinct purpose. It taught you something profoundly important. Perhaps it revealed to you what love unequivocally isn't. Perhaps it starkly highlighted areas where you critically need to establish firmer boundaries. Perhaps it laid bare a version of yourself that you no longer desire to embody. That, in its essence, is the profound gift. That is the invaluable lesson. But once the lesson has been fully absorbed, the emotional attachment must unequivocally dissolve. Because you simply cannot construct the vibrant future you envision while laboriously dragging the immense weight of your past behind you. That persistent weight will inevitably drain your vitality. It will relentlessly distract you. It will keep you perpetually second, guessing your choices, endlessly replaying what went wrong, tirelessly attempting to mend what is already irrevocably broken. And while you are caught in this exhaustive cycle, you are tragically missing out on your actual life. You are missing the richness of the present moment. You are missing the opportunity for new, meaningful connections, for profound personal growth, for illuminating clarity, for deep healing. And for what precisely? For someone who consistently fails to call, for someone who consistently fails to perceive your inherent worth, for someone who demonstrably benefits from you remaining small and diminished. No, that is no longer your narrative. That is no longer your identity. You are not the perpetual fixer. You are not the endless chaser. You are not the one who must perpetually bear the weight of everything. You are unequivocally Esgazer, allowed to let go. You are unequivocally allowed to outgrow individuals. You are unequivocally allowed to prioritize yourself. And that, my friend, is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of profound clarity. It is an act of true axe maturity. It is an act of undeniable axe strength. Some individuals are merely destined to be present in your life for a fleeting season. Some individuals are only capable of extending love to the precise extent that they themselves have undertaken their own internal healing. And if they haven't committed to that vital inner work, they will persistently project their own pain onto you. They will unjustly blame you for their own ingrained patterns. They will gaslight you into mistakenly believing that their shortcomings are, in fact, your fault. And you, in turn, will tirelessly continue to strive to prove your worth to someone who cannot even discern their own. That, my friend, is a battle you are fundamentally destined to lose, because it is not, at its core, about you. It is profoundly about them, their unresolved pain, their fragile ego, their unhealed wounds. And regardless of the depth of your affection for them, regardless of the extent to which you strive to be present, regardless of how meticulously you attempt to explain yourself, nothing will fundamentally change until they themselves choose to initiate that change. And do you know what? That profound choice is emphatically not yours to make. Your primary role in this life is not to save others. Your primary role is not to passively linger, patiently awaiting for them to transform into someone they are simply not yet ready to be. Your primary role is to become the magnificent person you were truly meant to be. And that unequivocally means liberating yourself from anything or anyone that is actively impeding your progress. Letting go does not render you weak. It does not make you heartless. Instead, it imbues you with wisdom. It imbues you with profound bravery. It transforms you into an individual who steadfastly refuses to remain in a place that no longer fosters your growth. That, my friend, is a decision most individuals are simply too afraid to make. They would rather cling to the familiar, no matter how detrimental, than bravely confront the exhilarating unknown. But you, my friend, are not most people. You are not here to live a repetitive existence. You are not here to endlessly relive the same pain, the same unlearned lessons, the same draining cycles. You are here to, evolve. And true evolution demands separation. It necessitates moments of profound silence. It compels you to courageously walk away from what is superficially easy, but ultimately destructive. From what is intimately familiar, but deeply unfulfilling. From what is consistently present, but inherently toxic. You can genuinely love someone and still, with utmost clarity, realize that their presence is not conducive to your personal growth. You can deeply care about someone and still, with self-respect, choose yourself above all else. And let's be entirely candid, it's undeniably hard. It hurts deeply. It can feel as though a vital part of you is perishing. And in some profound ways, it truly is. The part of you that habitually settled, the part of you that desperately craved external validation, the part of you that routinely accepted less than you inherently deserved, that part is indeed fading away. And in its hallowed place, something undeniably stronger is being born, a revitalized you, a laser-focused you, a deeply healed you, a version of you that unequivocally knows your inherent worth, even when others fail to perceive it. And once you tap into that empowered version of yourself, everything in your life begins to irrevocably shift. You cease the chasing, you stop the begging, you end the incessant explaining. You begin to navigate your life differently. You start courageously walking away from anything that unequivocally drains your spirit. You begin to protect your peace with an intensity that suggests your very life depends on it. Because in truth, it profoundly does. Your peace is everything. It forms the unshakable foundation for your clarity, your unwavering focus, your boundless creativity, and your profound purpose. And if someone consistently disrupts that sacred peace, they simply do not belong in your life. Regardless of how long you've known them, regardless of the depth of your shared history, regardless of the immense potential you once perceived, potential does not and never will pay the emotional rent. Energy does. Respect does. Consistency does. It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. What precisely are you clinging to that has already definitively departed? What are you continuously expending energy on that consistently fails to replenish you? Whom are you tirelessly attempting to fix who has no genuine desire to grow? And most importantly, who could you genuinely become if you were to redirect all that previously dissipated energy back into yourself? That is the pivotal question. That is the unparalleled opportunity. That is the defining moment that fundamentally differentiates individuals who remain perpetually stuck from those who courageously rise. You rise when you courageously let go. You rise when you cease allowing your past to rigidly define your magnificent future. You rise when you decisively choose Siddhartha's peace over drama, IF growth over stagnant comfort, and healing over historical attachments. This is your moment to rise. This is your personal invitation to stop burdening yourself with what no longer genuinely fits, to cease fruitlessly trying to force what simply isn't flowing naturally, to stop manufacturing excuses for behavior that has absolutely no place in your elevated life. You are not inherently difficult to love. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are, in every profound sense, evolving. And that evolution inherently demands space. It requires immense courage. It necessitates the act of letting go. Not to punish anyone, not to prove a point, but solely to protect your sacred purpose. Because the more you genuinely grow, the less you will tolerate what consistently keeps you small. The more you truly love yourself, the more you will unequivocally refuse to accept half-hearted love, ambiguous mixed signals, and persistent emotional inconsistency. You will become the vigilant, exerce gatekeeper of your own energy. And that, my friend, is an extraordinarily powerful place to reside. And when you finally release your grasp, something truly incredible begins to transpire. You create space. Space for vibrant new energy, space for genuinely aligned connections, space for unadulterated joy, for boundless creativity, for overflowing abundance. And you begin to realize with profound clarity that the individuals you courageously let go of were not your loss. They were, in fact, your invaluable lesson, a necessary, albeit often challenging, part of your unique journey, but emphatically not your ultimate destination. They were present to teach you, to trigger your growth, to awaken latent parts of yourself that were in dire need of healing. But now that the lesson has been fully absorbed, it is unequivocally time to move forward. You are not abandoning anyone. You are merely returning to your authentic self. You are not running away from your life. You are actively running toward profound peace. You have expended more than enough time waiting for them to change, hoping they would magically show up differently, contorting yourself into a version of you that might finally compel them to stay. But you are not here to be chosen. You are here to choose yourself above all else, to choose unshakable peace, to choose authentic alignment. And yes, it will undoubtedly feel lonely at first. It will be quiet. It will be uncomfortable. But that very discomfort is precisely where your profound growth resides. That very loneliness is precisely where your inherent power begins to undeniably rise. Because now, perhaps for the very first time, you are not distracted. You are not passively waiting. You are not tirelessly attempting to manage someone else's volatile emotions. You are focused, clear, and gloriously free. That freedom is nothing short of sacred. Protect it fiercely. Nurture it meticulously. Allow it to lead you with unwavering conviction. Because what patiently awaits you on the other side of letting go is immeasurably greater than anything you are courageously leaving behind. It is profound self-respect. It is crystal clear clarity. It is the empowering ability to gaze into a mirror and genuinely know that you chose yourself. Even when it was incredibly difficult, even when no one else truly comprehended your decision. That, my friend, is integrity. That is strength. That is genuine love, not the kind of love that desperately seeks external approval, but the kind that inherently creates it. A love deeply rooted in unwavering self-trust, in the profound knowing that you are inherently worthy, not because someone else validates it, but because you intrinsically know it deep within your very bones. So, let them go. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of pure aseka love, out of love for the magnificent person you are actively becoming. Out of love for your invaluable peace, out of love for your profound purpose. Let them go so you can truly grow. Let them go so you can genuinely breathe. Let them go so you can finally embody who you were always truly meant to be: free, deeply grounded, wholly complete, and unapologetically focused on meticulously building the extraordinary life you genuinely deserve. Letting go is not a loss, it is, in its essence, a safs, coming home to yourself. It is choosing a future that is no longer rigidly chained to the confines of your past. It is the ultimate act of courage, the deepest form of self-love the most powerful decision you will ever make.